Next up on my Steam library, I'm playing Tomb Raider. I'm playing the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider, the first of the modern Tomb Raider reboots. It's, I guess you know what Tomb Raider is by now, you should do. It's a third-person action puzzle platformer game. Just like the other Tomb Raiders, they haven't changed anything drastically, like turning it into a real-time tactics game or anything silly like that. So this retells the origin story of Lara Croft, starting like before she's a badass, before she's ever wielded a bow or two guns or gone jumping around in tombs. So this is when she starts off. She's just a simple young archaeologist out on an expedition, and things go wrong. The ship they're on gets wrecked on an island, and things descend into madness from there. So it's a pretty linear game. The levels are dead straightforward, pretty much led by the nose where you want to go, apart from a few sort of hub areas which are larger, but don't really have any choice in the way you complete the level. You've still got to go through the level the same way. They just have large areas for you basically to look for collectibles. If it wasn't for the collectibles in the game and like the hidden tombs and things like that, there would be no reason to have these larger areas. You could just have a series of levels that just pretty much lead you through from one linear level to another, like say Call of Duty does. But this has those linear levels where you go one to another, and then in between these sort of larger hub areas where you can go explore a little bit, but not that much, and it's not really that necessary. There's a little bit of Metroidvania going on as well, where you will start off in an area and there'll be places you won't be able to get to because you haven't got the equipment or the upgrades yet. But as you go through the game, you'll be able to get new equipment, new upgrades, which will now mean you can get to these areas, or you can do what's needed to be done to access those hard to reach places that you couldn't get to before. The combat is quite good. It's fairly simple. It comprises of standard over-the-shoulder third-person shooting with your bow or your pistol, or later on shotgun or assault rifle. There's a lot of quick-time events layered in as well, where you just have to like mash a few buttons and then hit another button when prompted. They're quite a liberal amount of them. A lot of scripted set pieces where you'll just be basically a passenger for most of it, just watching maybe a little button input required every now and then. And the puzzles and the platforming are fairly simple as well, but it can leave you scratching your head a little bit, but not too hard to figure out, and not too taxing on the platforming side of things. You don't have to be like millisecond pixel frame perfect or anything like that. You can get through most of the platforming and puzzling without too much trouble. There's also a very simple crafting and progression system. As you go through, you can just basically collect salvage. That's what you use to craft everything. There's no like different types of materials. You just collect this one universal material called salvage, and that's what you use to upgrade your weapons. And the progression system is just basically XP for progressing and killing enemies and finding things. And every time you get a certain amount of XP, you get a skill point to spend in about 3 various different branches of your character's attributes, just to make Lara a bit better with either climbing or shooting, or just general survivability. So, as for the game as a whole, it's not too bad. It's a good reboot. I think it's good for what what the Tomb Raider story is going to tell you. It is a little strange. It's kind of got that ludonarrative dissonance going on that sometimes people talk about, where like the gameplay is kind of suggesting, well, the narrative is suggesting one thing, and the gameplay is suggesting something different. Like in the narrative, you're supposed to be like this vulnerable young woman who's like never faced anything like this before, never been in conflict, let alone combat. You know, she's been a bookworm and a researcher up until now, and within, like, you know, within 30 minutes you're an expert archer, and then like within an hour you're doing stealth kills and combat takedowns and that sort of thing. So you know, that's the kind of thing a lot of games have, and you can't really criticize it too much for that. But it is it can be a little bit weird when you, because the game still tries to like make you feel sorry for Lara, I guess, at a lot of points. You know, she's always falling over and going, oh, hurting herself and getting bashed up, and I think you're supposed to feel that she's this vulnerable character, but on the other hand, she's like, by the end of the game you'll have killed like a couple of hundred people, and a lot of them by shooting them in the head with an arrow or putting your climbing axe through their skull. So it's hard to see someone vulnerable when they can do that. Anyway, its full price is $14.99, which is pretty good for this game as it is. It's about 10-11 hours long if you just play through and don't be worried about finding all the collectibles and everything. But you can go back, and there's a fast travel system around the island once you've unlocked the different areas. So if you want to go back and sort of find everything, you can do. But yeah, $14.99 for about 11 hours gameplay. It's not too bad. That's the full price, so a sale price less than that would be a really good deal. The Rise of the Tomb Raider is its sequel. That is out. I haven't played that. That's not on sale at the moment. That's still at like $39.99. That was the 2016 sequel. So I probably won't buy that unless I see it on sale. And the third of the reboot trilogy, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that's supposed to be due out this year, 2018. So hopefully Rise of the Tomb Raider will be on sale before Shadow comes out, and I can pick up Rise for a discount and play that before Shadow comes out. But yeah, I recommend the 2013 Tomb Raider, the first of the reboots. Pretty good. It's the film's out this week as well, so I think the film's largely based on this first reboot, the origin story in this game. So it might make a good little companion. That's the reason I played it, is because the film was out. I thought I'd give this, because I had this sitting in my Steam library anyway, so I thought I'd give this a go. So yeah, I recommend the reboot, the 2013 Tomb Raider. Not too bad at all.